The Inglehart-Welzel Cultural Map of the World, often referred to as the Inglehart Map of Values, is a conceptual framework that highlights the cultural and value differences across societies. It is based on extensive research conducted by the World Values Survey, WVS, and the European Values Study, EVS, which together analyze societal values and cultural shifts in more than 100 countries. Developed by Ronald Inglehart and his collaborators, notably Christian Welzel, the map visually represents how societies evolve along two major dimensions of cultural values: traditional versus secular rational values and survival versus self-expression values. These dimensions help explain global patterns of cultural, social, and economic change, providing insights into how values shift with modernization, economic development, and democratization. Dimensions of the Inglehart Map. The Inglehart Map of Values is structured around two primary axes. 1. Traditional versus secular rational values. This axis reflects the extent to which societies prioritize religion, authority, and traditional family structures versus adopting a secular, rational, and often more liberal worldview. Traditional values are characterized by strong emphasis on religion, national pride, respect for authority, and traditional family roles. Societies with these values tend to resist changes in gender roles and prefer stability in social hierarchies. Secular rational values are associated with less emphasis on religion and authority. Societies that score high on this axis are more likely to accept diverse lifestyles, including gender equality, LGBTQ+ rights, and non-traditional family models. 2. Survival versus self-expression values. This dimension captures the shift from a focus on economic and physical security, survival, to a focus on individual autonomy, well-being, and self-expression. Survival values are prevalent in societies where material scarcity and existential threats dominate. These societies prioritize safety, economic stability, and conformity, often showing low tolerance for diversity and political participation. Self-expression values emerge in post-industrial societies where basic needs are met. These values emphasize freedom of speech, environmental protection, cultural diversity, and greater participation in democratic processes. Historical context and theoretical basis. The theoretical foundation of the Inglehart Map lies in modernization theory, which argues that as societies industrialize and later become post-industrial, their values and priorities shift. Ronald Inglehart introduced the idea of value change in the 1970s, emphasizing that economic development brings about a transformation in cultural norms. As individuals and societies move beyond concerns of mere survival, they increasingly focus on self-expression and quality of life. Generational replacement. Inglehart argues that value change occurs gradually through generational shifts. Younger generations, raised in times of relative prosperity, adopt more progressive, self-expressive values than older generations who experienced material scarcity. Economic development and value shifts. Economic stability fosters a transition from traditional survival-based values to secular, self-expressive values. This transition correlates strongly with increased education, urbanization, and technological advancement. Global patterns on the Inglehart Map. The map groups societies into cultural clusters based on their shared values. These clusters reflect historical, religious, and economic influences that shape societal norms. 1. Confucian societies. Countries like China, Japan, and South Korea score high on secular rational values, but lower on self-expression values. These societies emphasize discipline, hierarchy, and collective responsibility. 2. Protestant Europe. Nations like Sweden, Norway, and the Netherlands are characterized by high self-expression and secular rational values. These societies are marked by advanced economies, strong democratic institutions, and progressive social norms. 3. Catholic Europe and Latin America. While Catholic European nations lean towards secular values, Latin American countries blend traditional and self-expression values. This reflects a mix of historical Catholic influence and emerging modernist tendencies. 4. Orthodox Europe. Countries like Russia and Serbia display a mix of traditional and secular rational values, often reflecting their Orthodox Christian heritage and post-Soviet transitions. 5. Islamic societies. These nations predominantly align with traditional and survival values. Religion, family, and community cohesion play central roles in shaping cultural norms. 6. Sub-Saharan Africa. These countries often exhibit strong traditional and survival values due to ongoing economic challenges and high religiosity. 7. English-speaking countries. The United States, Canada, and Australia combine high self-expression with a mix of traditional and secular values, reflecting their democratic and individualistic ethos. Implications of the map. The Inglehart map offers insights into cultural convergence and divergence in an increasingly globalized world. It highlights several key trends. 1. Democratization and human rights. Societies that score high on self-expression values are more likely to embrace democratic principles, protect human rights, and foster social equality. The map shows a strong correlation between self-expression values and the level of democracy in a society. 2. Economic development and value priorities. Economic prosperity allows societies to focus on quality of life issues rather than mere survival. For example, environmental protection, gender equality, and cultural tolerance often emerge as priorities in post-industrial societies. 3. Resistance to change. Traditional societies may resist the shift towards secular and self-expression values due to entrenched cultural norms, religious influences, or economic constraints. This resistance can lead to cultural tensions, especially in regions undergoing rapid modernization. 4. Cultural globalization. While globalization promotes the exchange of ideas and values, it also leads to conflicts between traditional and modern norms. The map illustrates how cultural identities persist despite economic integration. Critiques and limitations. The Inglehart map has received both praise and criticism for its approach to understanding cultural values. 1. Overgeneralization. Critics argue that grouping countries into cultural clusters oversimplifies complex societies with significant internal diversity. For instance, regions within a single country may exhibit vastly different values. 2. Determinism. Some scholars claim that the map assumes an inevitable progression from traditional to secular and survival to self-expression values, ignoring cases where societies revert or diverge. 3. Western bias. The framework has been criticized for prioritizing Western notions of modernity and progress, which may not apply universally. 4. Static representation. The map is a snapshot of values at a given time and may not fully capture the dynamic and fluid nature of cultural change. Relevance in modern times. The Inglehart map remains a valuable tool for understanding global value systems in a rapidly changing world. Its applications include 1. Policy and governance. Policymakers can use the map to tailor strategies that align with societal values, enhancing the effectiveness of governance. 2. Global business. Companies operating in diverse cultural environments can use insights from the map to navigate cultural differences and adapt their strategies. 3. Academia and research. The map serves as a foundational framework for studying cross-cultural psychology, sociology, and political science. 4. Social movements. Understanding value shifts can help activists and organizations address social issues, from climate change to human rights. The Inglehart-Welzel Cultural Map of the World offers a compelling framework for exploring the relationship between societal values and cultural evolution. By categorizing societies along the dimensions of traditional versus secular rational values and survival versus self-expression values, the map reveals patterns that help explain historical trajectories, cultural diversity, and the impact of modernization. Despite its limitations, the Inglehart map remains a cornerstone of cross-cultural analysis, offering valuable insights into how values shape and are shaped by the societies we live in. As the world continues to evolve, the map provides a lens through which we can understand the interplay between tradition, modernity, and human aspiration.